I heard you talking about a lot of these quarterbacks, and I don't think anybody blew you away. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, I mean they don't, but I'm also not a huge fan of the combine because I think there's so many different things that go into it. First thing is you're throwing versus air, and so I mean, I don't really know what that tells me because you never really have to just not think and just drop back and throw it to the guy that's running. You're working with a lot of guys that you've never worked with before, and so you're not really sure how they're going to run routes. And as a quarterback, I mean, you're taught, okay, you got to complete everything. So everything is about throwing completions and throwing completions. So when you're working with guys that you don't normally work with, you're going to sit there and wait and see what they do. And actually waiting is more of a harm than a help because you're waiting and all of a sudden you're behind on a throw. But your mindset is, I just got to complete it. So, when I look at the combine, I'm always trying to look at guys that understand how to make a throw. We saw Josh Allen throw a go route like 65 yards, and everybody's like, ooh, oh, wow. You never throw it that far in a game. I mean, that's not how the ball is thrown. There's guys rushing you. It's 5 steps. You get it out there about 45 or 50 yards. And so that's the kind of stuff when I watch the combine, I'm like, I don't know what I can really take from it. I watch footwork, which I wasn't blown away with a lot of these guys that have spent so much time in the gun. They got to get better under center. They got to be able to be more fluid and get away from the center, and they have to have a sense of urgency. So those are the kind of things I watch in the combine. So I think it's really tough to blow someone away unless you really understand how to make throws and you don't care about completions. But just knowing where those guys' headspace is at the time, nobody wants to go out there and have all incomplete passes. Even if you threw them how you wanted to, you want people to go away thinking, man, he completed everything.
So in your estimation then, who came out of this combine as the number one quarterback?
Well, again, I think you have to take everything into consideration. But if you were just going off the combine, I thought
just out of the combine.
If I'm going off just the combine, I thought Josh Allen looked really good. He looked comfortable. His footwork looked solid. Ease in just throwing the football. And then I thought Baker Mayfield was probably number 2. Maybe not quite as efficient as I would have liked to see him. His drops weren't as clean, but he was probably of all the guys, the guy that understood how to throw balls the best. And I know people are listening going, what does that mean as long as it goes to the guy? But there's certain balls that you want to throw with touch. There's certain balls you want to throw outside as opposed to inside. And that's what I'm talking about by understanding how to make throws. And I thought Baker Mayfield, showed that in his college film, but he showed that in the combine as well. So those two guys I thought were the best of the bunch. Didn't think Josh Rosen looked really comfortable in that setting. And I would say the same with Lamar Jackson is that, when he didn't run and he came out and said, hey, I'm just a quarterback. I just want to be seen as a quarterback. You were hoping that he was going to come out and wow you with his ability to throw the football. He's got some technique flaws that I think he has to clean up. But don't think he did himself really, really well as far as just dropping back and throwing the football.
I understand that he doesn't want to be seen as anything other than a quarterback, but do you think he did himself a disservice by not running? Because let's face it, you want to play in the National Football League any way that you can get in, don't you?
Yeah, and I think, when it comes to the combine, especially when you look at what the combine is, people are wowed by the numbers, right? I mean, again, we very seldom come out talking, man, that guy can really throw the football. I didn't know that going into the combine. But we come out of it with, man, did you see how explosive that guy was? Did you see how fast that guy was? And that's where I think Lamar Jackson really could have helped him. So he could have wowed some people with his athleticism. And then you go out and throw well, and now guys are going, oh, my gosh, this guy is ridiculous. And we already know he's ridiculous, but I thought he had a chance in those other areas to maybe wow the scouts and grab some attention there. So even if he was just okay throwing it, it balanced out to be, man, this guy looked really, really good. But when he put all that stuff that we knew he was going to, blow out of the water, when he said, I'm not going to do that stuff, I'm just going to throw, I think it put all the attention on him throwing the football. And, when you watch him, he's a tremendous athlete, and he's got great potential. But that's just not his forte yet as being a drop-back passer. So I felt he put all the attention on that instead of being able to showcase some of the things that make him really, really special.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.